This is Business and Economy Network.
Do you know biotechnology in agriculture, even in health and every other aspect of life, is very, very key? And do you know that agriculture can be enhanced via biotechnology? Likewise, health. Do you also know that pension, be you a farmer, be you a mechanic, be you a career man or woman, that you can retire peacefully and also still be earning something? Welcome to your program. You are watching your #1 business television program. My name is Peter Moche. In our culture, we want to always appreciate all of you watching us all around the world. Those of you watching us in Abuja, Port Harcourt, Ilorin, Kano, Kaduna, Sokoto. Those of you watching us outside the shores of Nigeria, London, South Africa, and beyond the online channels, I want to say thank you so very much. Like I just said, the importance of biotechnology and also pension fund administration is very key. For the program rundown today, we have the Acting Director General, National Biotechnology Development Agency. This is an agency saddled with the responsibility of biotech in all facets of life, both agriculture and health. And for Company in Focus, we have the CEO of Investment One Pensions Managers Limited, a pension fund administrator doing very well in Lagos, Nigeria. Not left out for Spotlight, we have the CEO of AIICO Pensions Managers Limited, also a pension fund administration doing very well also in Lagos, Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brace yourself up because it's going to be deep, it's going to be incisive, and it's going to be very educative. I'll be back after this time out.
The role of biotechnology to national development cannot be overemphasized. The National Biotechnology Development Agency is aimed at promoting, coordinating, and setting research and development priority in biotechnology in Nigeria. The program of the agency are designed in line with international standards, bearing in mind the development of local technological content. Professor Alex Owadiegu Akbar is the Acting Director General Chief Executive Officer of the National Biotechnology Development Agency. In a chat with the Business and Economy Network crew, the Acting Director General took time to explain the safety of GMOs, that is genetically modified organisms, and why it should be embraced.
Those groups that tell you they are against GMOs are not, surprisingly, are not against the use of vaccines. But the technology is basically the same. Is it not? Does it not show? Is that not an indication of some form of hypocrisy? So it is just to further confirm that there is nothing wrong with the technology. The recombinant DNA technology is basic. It's pure science. It's safe both in vaccines, just as it's safe in food production. The technology is basically the same. It's the same. This is recombinant DNA technology. This is recombinant DNA. You try to the gene. In both cases, you try to manipulate the gene by picking exactly that particular factor you want to adopt, which gives you what you want. You want to protect, say, against polio. You are going specifically for the gene that enables you to protect against polio. It's same thing in crops. You want to produce crops that are drought resistant. You go specifically and you pick the gene that enables the plant to be drought resistant. So the technology, there is no difference whatsoever, except that, of course, in humans, normally a little bit more care is taken with regards to purification and so on. But the technology is basically fundamentally the same. I'm sorry to say most of the thing has been supported by groups, certain groups from outside the continent. I don't want to mention names, but groups from outside the continent, for reasons best known to them, have continue to propagate this. I don't know, maybe the aim is to consistently and constantly, continuously subjugate us in Africa so that we'll never be able to feed ourselves, because maybe we serve as huge markets already for crops and products they produce in their own countries. And they know that once the whole continent of Africa is able to feed itself and to break away from poverty and hunger, that most of their own industries dependent on us will will close down or start being unable to find markets for their products. So it might also have to do with business. You know, some business interests might also be behind this. There are people who are involved in agrochemicals, for instance. They produce all the insecticides and so on and so forth. And they know that once there's massive adoption of biotechnology and you produce pest-resistant crops and drought-resistant crops, of course, use of fertilizers will drop, use of pesticides will drop, and of course, it's bad market for those big companies. So it's possible they are also behind all these efforts to keep us continuously and constantly subjugated, because that's how I see it.
Investment One Pension Managers Limited is one of the fastest growing pension fund administrators in Nigeria, headed by Mr. Azubike Okonkwo. The firm is uniquely positioned to provide complete services to meet clients' investment requirements, with a team of investment experts that are controlled to provide clients with finest service, funded on detailed market understanding, innovation, and service par excellence. Investment One Pension Managers is a one-stop shop for clients' full complement of investment solutions. Investment One offers pension services to individuals, corporate institutions, state governments, government agencies, and parastatals, and has recorded tremendous success in its years of existence.
My name is Azubike Okonkwo. I'm the Managing Director, CEO of Investment One Pension Managers. I'm a Nigerian. And I have been in the financial services industry since 1994. I started out working in Pricewaterhouse for a year, and I moved on to Guarantee Trust Bank, where I worked for about 17 years. And after Guarantee Trust Bank, I joined Investment One Financial Services. Investment One Financial Services is the parent company of Investment One Pension Managers. And from Investment Financial Services was when I was moved to take over as the Managing Director of Investment One Pension Managers. And I've been the Managing Director of this company since 2013. Investment One Pension Managers started off from a company called Royal Trust PFA that was acquired in 2012. At the time the company was acquired, it was when the pension industry was recapitalizing, and we came in to acquire Royal Trust PFA. And at the time we acquired Royal Trust PFA, it was the company was it was a company that was really struggling. But from that time up until now, we have managed to grow our assets under management by over 5,000%. Now, how did we achieve that? Basically, when we came in, we restructured this company. We brought in seasoned professionals, and we took control of the technology aspect, and we brought in technology that helped us deliver the kind of service that the pension fund contributors, retirees, and all the stakeholders needed. From that time up until now, if you ask our clients, things have changed significantly, and that's why we are where we are today. In terms of number, we've also grown massively. We had just a few thousand clients when we started in 2012, but today we have grown that number by well over 3,000%. So that's what it is about Investment One: service. Our antecedents, our heritage has been service, service, service. And I mean, even as a person, I've worked in an environment where service and innovation was very critical for us, and that's what it is about us. In addition to that, we have also delivered on the returns. We have delivered returns above inflation. Well, for us, the challenges has been enormous, and thankfully, the regulators are addressing these challenges. In terms of where our reach, our coverage is still largely limited, because we're still covering the formal sector, which is a small part of the base in this country. Maybe about 10% of the larger base, and so all our effort still focus on the informal sector. But by the time the informal sector opens up, thanks to the work ongoing on micro pensions and all of that, the number and the potential of the market will begin to scratch. So in terms of challenges for us right now, because at the time we started, you could only reach out to new employees coming into the system. And if you have followed the Nigerian economy the past couple of, there have been challenges in terms of people, companies. The country has been in a recession in the past 2 or 3 years. A lot of companies are not employing. Some are even closing down and all of that. And so that has been challenging, because our projection when we started in 2013 of the number of employees that were likely to sign on, we haven't been able to achieve that, mainly because of what we're seeing in the economy generally. But things are changing, things are improving, and there are a lot of things that we have the regulators and the other players in the market putting in place, and we're very hopeful, very, very hopeful that things are just going to improve significantly in the coming years. For our organization, we have a crop of young men and young women who are very, very passionate about serving their customers. For us, our people is very key. In addition to that, technology is also key. We have put in place technology to help us serve our clients. Basically, the customers that you have in the pension industry require services that are prompt. For instance, if you have people who have come to make claims, they want you to pay them on time. Because if you look back to the pension industry, what actually brought about the contributory pension industry is what people suffered under the old pension scheme. Now, people want services very, very prompt, and that is what we are delivering.
Hello, younger self. I just want to say thank you for deciding to live healthy. Thank you for keeping the right crowd that led to a partner that supports me. That decision led me to make the most important decision of all, making sure that I prepare for a secure future with the right partner. A partner that I can trust, that will ensure that I'm covered no matter what. AIICO Pension Managers Limited. Now I can indulge in the things that matter to me. thanks to you. You are a product of your decisions. Make choices that can stand the test of time, so when tomorrow calls, you'll answer with a smile. So, what decisions will you be making today? AIICO Pension Managers.
AIICO Pension Fund Managers Limited is one of Nigeria's pace-setting public fund administrators, considering its strategic mode of operation and dynamic nature. Mr. Igwahide Longe is the MD CEO of AIICO Pension Managers. At AIICO, building a culture of service and value creation to satisfy customers have been its major strategy for selling its pension products and services. AIICO Pension realizes only the employed can contribute to a pension scheme, which has made them taking a step ahead by training and guiding a number of unemployed youths on ways to be easily integrated into the Nigerian workforce.
There will always be continuity in the organization. And it's not about me, it's about building a crop of leadership that would be able to take the mantle and continue to build the organization to where it has to go to. AIICO Pension has tried to build a culture of service, a culture of value creation. I think that goes right down even to the security man. We realize that the only way we can perpetuate our franchise is by satisfying the people who we serve. What we will do in the years ahead is to always determine who our key customers are, the key public that we serve are, so that we are able to satisfy them. Recently, we did something that was very innovative. Like I said to you, we need to see how we contribute to improving the employment environment. And so we realized that you could look at the work space as an assembly line. Coming into the beginning of the assembly line is getting a job. So we thought, look, how do people who are in this teeming job market, how do we help them to improve their chances of getting jobs? And we held a seminar for people about to enter the workforce or in the early workforce. And what we did very creatively was to bring people within our employers within our contributor base and match them with these people who are looking to come into the workforce and educate them on how to prepare their CVs, on how to begin to define their career prospects, and in some cases, some people have been called for employment discussions. We intend to do that going forward. That's, I think, the difference you get in an AIICO pension. We're a very personable organization, we're easy to approach, and our customers are important to us. This thing about improving the Nigerian economy, and investing in infrastructure, we're very passionate about that. We've committed to some alternative class schemes, private equity schemes, where people are investing money to grow companies. So where we find that there is proper preparation and the thought processes are right, we look to see how we can back those initiatives. So I think that innovation, client focus, compliance, and corporate governance are the things that you would find as a hallmark of AIICO Pension. And once you're able to put all of that together, it just begins to regenerate itself. And it's not about how much market share you can seize. It's about how sustainable you can be and about how you can consistently create value for the people who you serve. Well, the multi-fund structure is simply a structure that it's a structure that borrows from the asset management industry. And in the asset management industry, you don't manage investments in only one way, because various people in the financial life cycle, so to say, have different risk preferences. So if a 24-year-old person comes into the workforce today, his view of investing may be totally different. His risk preferences may be totally different from somebody like me who will soon retire, right? So if you put all of us in one fund with the same assets, investing in the same assets, you're likely to negate the intention of the man who has just come in. He may want to take crazy risk. He might want to invest in infrastructure assets because he believes that he has enough time to recover. Maybe those infrastructure assets, maybe those variable, maybe he wants to even invest in equities because he believes that if he loses today, he can recover tomorrow, right? So the multi-front structure is simply to reflect those risk preferences. And so it has introduced 4 different funds to reflect different risk profiles. Now, the difference in all the funds is really the exposure of each fund to variable income investments. Variable income investments will be things like equities, private equity, infrastructure funds, alternative class assets, real estate, so those are, you have various levels of exposure on the different funds. We're supposed to initiate or institute the multi-fund structure by July 1st. But the way it has been done is that there are age restrictions as to how you can move into various funds. So a person who's over 50 years can't go and start taking excessive risk in Fund 1, which has an exposure of, say, 50% in variable income assets, with a minimum of 10, or is it 20% now? I don't recall the exact figure. So you can't default into Fund 1 as if you're over 50 years old. So for those who want to go to the to Fund 1, you must be of a certain age bracket. And then there's Fund 2, which takes less risk, but then is also skewed to people who are in the early stage of the financial life cycle. Now, when you're getting towards retirement, you want to be in investments that give you guaranteed income, fixed income like what we currently have, 70% in government paper. So you would be restricted from going to the first fund, but you can opt to go to the second fund if you choose to. And then there's the fourth fund, which is the retiree fund, for those who are no longer active contributors. First and foremost, Nigeria is your country. Don't run away from Nigeria. It's a difficult environment, but nothing starts and the way nature works. Nature does not start today and deliver value instantly. You have to build. There has to be a certain clarity of thoughts and mind, and you must believe in God, because everything, in the end, everything is controlled by the laws that God puts into this world. So you have to believe in yourself, and you have to believe in what is yours, and Nigeria is yours. And regardless of what the confusion seems to be today, it just requires a snapping into position, and you'll be amazed where this country will go. I am an incurable optimist in the future of this country, and I think that that's what young people should be. Be an incurable optimist in your country, and you'll find where you can create value.
This is Business and Economy Network.
Well, via this is where time will permit us for your program today. Like I did said, so unique, and I believe it has been very, very incisive and educative. Well, always remember this: success is never by an accident. With hard work, perseverance, focus, definitely success will come your way. And these are the stories of all that we have showcased in our program. Well, they say tomorrow is another day, but don't forget, the conversation has not ended. You can go to our website or to our YouTube channels. Our website is www.greenspringgroup.com, or our YouTube channels, www.youtube.com/user/greenspringgroup, and you continue to watch this program and drop your comments. Thank you so very much. God bless you.